2017. What's going on, guys?
Hey.
Good morning.
Oh, yeah.
Doing all right.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it.
Straight to the point. Bam!
Straight into it.
News.
Just that should be our new intro for every time we just that should just replace the intro that I did.
Yeah. How much news? Deal with it.
New subflare. Who wants to talk about this?
We got
All right.
2 new types of subflare they talked about in ATV, didn't they? Talked about
They
holographic displays of like stations, which is their new like theme for the next few subscriber flares. So we're going to get these tables that have cool stations on, like Port Olisar and that sort of jazz, and information about them as well.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be a picture of the ship, a picture of the station. It's going to have some description there as well. Hopefully some history and lore. They're also doing ones that are schematics for ships on walls.
Yeah, like the blueprints kind of looking things.
Yeah.
And some of them look quite detailed and quite cool. Like, I think some of them have probably been in the little, what are they books called?
Yeah, and brochures.
Brochures.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
there
the
you go.
ones.
Yeah, they look.
Yeah.
I can see like the Caterpillar one and stuff like that, and they look identical to the ones that were in either the concept sale info or the brochures or whatever. Just
you guys like this sort of hangar flare being chucked in to your hangars, or do you think it's like too much trash, or do you like smaller hangar flare, or do you want stuff that's only functional in your hangars?
I only want stuff that's functional personally, but
Yeah, and I kind of feel the same way, but at the same time, my opinion isn't the same as everyone else's, right?
Mhm.
So some people might like, I don't know, one of the things I like too is the ship model cases. I think those are kind of cool. Like you can have the models of your favorite ships somewhere, but there's some things that I'm not necessarily a fan of. Like I didn't like all the hangar flare. I'm sure some people like some things and don't like others.
Yeah.
But I guess to answer that one a little different is I assume we're gonna have a place to store these things, right? So like the ones that we don't want to display, we can have them hidden somewhere, but you know, because they might have some value at some point, you know, we can hold on to them and sell them or whatever, you know what I mean? But as far as this hangar flare, I think this is like this is in the same kind of place as like the plants for me, where they're really kind of, they make sense for if you're going to decorate a place that you live. It kind of makes a lot of sense for
no Windows. I do not want to restart.
It's not forcing.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I'm
glad
attention.
it didn't force.
It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it during this.
Really liked the fish tank. Okay, and I know they've talked about pets in the future, and pets are going to be a different thing. But I want flora and fauna. I want really pets, but in cages. I want to see different life forms from different planets.
You want like different terrariums and stuff,
yeah,
more than just the aquarium.
I think that'll probably almost definitely be a thing. Yeah, I don't think we'll just be collecting fish, right? I feel like, so I've been watching a lot of Star Trek, and I watched Deep Space Nine first. I watched the whole thing of that, and then I watched the most recent one, which is, I always forget the name.
Archer's one.
Yeah, the one with Archer.
I can't remember. It's Enterprise.
Enterprise. Yeah, it's called Enterprise. So the doctor there, he collects like a bunch of different animals, and I just like, I totally feel like that's what they would be doing. Like, oh wow, we went to this new planet, so this new thing, and collect animals and things like that. There's totally gonna be, come on, it's an MMO. What MMO do you not collect? Like, or is there not at least an option to be like a collector in? Every MMO I've played.
Full of different animals. Just full of different animals. That's all I want. It's people to go in there and go, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So I would expect that. But at the same time, they're bringing pets as like an actual thing too.
Yes.
So I wonder if they would wait maybe for that before they started giving you like little hangar flare pets.
They're separate things, I think. I mean, if you want to do flora and fauna as a thing, you can do it totally separately, because you can do it in the same way that we've got the Forsha Greys.
No.
Maybe a little bit more mobile.
Like
just a rock in a box and just go, this is a rock pet. Good job.
It's actually a life form. It's a silicone-based life form. And,
it's a silicon rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so the first one of these hanger flares, the tables, the holographic tables, is coming out on Friday. This Friday.
Yeah.
For subscribers.
And I think it's Tessa's the ICC probe. I think
it is the ICC probe. You're right. And I forgot what it was, but it was the ICC probe.
But they also said that it, like, one thing that they mentioned is that it would be current places in game, but also future places. So we might see like something that is in development, right? Because they could, we know what the outline would look like, but we don't know, you know, with detail. Basically, the white or gray box version of it.
We have all these different types of hanger flares that could potentially be their own little collector's set. I feel, and I don't, cool. Well, it's cool, but I feel like CIG's like, yeah, this is a good idea, and then they abandon it after a little bit, right?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, so for example, they did the models for a bit, and now you get the models with the concept work and whatever, and that's fine. And then they did the fish, and then that sort of stopped. They stopped making new ones of those. Then,
they do them in sets, though. They literally do them in sets. They come to the end of the set.
Right.
And then maybe they'll
like those big things with the armor and the skull and the Vandal plating and stuff.
I think people didn't like those. And I don't think people like those.
I don't know. It all just seems like those are all things that could go on indefinitely, and they don't, for whatever reason. The plants are another thing. The little badges or whatever for your wall posters and stuff like
well, the badges for your wall I think are going to be
achievements
and in-game
referral rewards as well as like achievement type things. Because the badges for the wall currently are only referral rewards, am I right?
Yeah, something we don't have in the doc, by the way. They're going to talk about the referrals this week, right? They're revamping it this week.
Yeah.
So there you go, Board.
Yeah. So, and I'm sitting here like not taking any referrals myself, giving them all to my mods and stuff. But no, so one thing that I think I get what you're trying to say, Saurus, and maybe so they have a bunch of different sets now, right? And they can always go back to those sets.
Right.
But what you would like is maybe not have them make like all the Hollow Viewer things all in a row. You would like to see,
I want to see them scattered out,
and then a plant, and then an armor, and then mix it up each month. It'd be
That's exactly what I'm like. They just sort of are like, okay, now we're gonna do this, and then that's all they do for like 6 months or whatever, and then it's like, no,
to be honest, that might make a lot more sense to do it that way, because what if you're a subscriber, or what if you're someone who's considering subscribing and you're not really a fan of the Hollow Viewer thing, right? Wouldn't you maybe stay subscribed to see, like, there's a potential for them to be like, well, I don't know what's going to come next month, they don't, so then, I really like the space plants, and I also really like the ship models, but I'm not really a fan of the Hollow Viewer, but then they might stay subscribed a little longer. That might actually make
I don't know. It's just something I've noticed. That's all. I'm not sure if anybody else has sort of noticed it. And then they also have the vending machine, which is a bonus.
An additional piece of hanger flair. Anyone that subscribes before Monday will get the Big Benny's. Hopefully the last of the Big Benny's vending machine.
I don't think it'll be the last
as well.
They also mentioned, I don't remember what show it was on when they were talking about this, about was it that you're going to be able to buy stuff from it?
I didn't hear that. I think we discussed it on last week's podcast. Like, would we be able to? We questioned it.
Yeah, we discussed would you be able to, and I do think that on another podcast they were talking to someone that was saying maybe you would be able to. Would you be able to sell?
Well, I remember them talking about, there was a loose affiliation. They went from the vending machine talking about that to talking about purchasing things in your from things or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking on my ass and making things up.
I mean,
don't ever listen to me, guys.
It would make sense that eventually it would work.
Yeah.
I feel like if any, like, obviously they want like that, you know, the F word, the fidelity and immersion, the F and the I words.
Yep.
Isn't it an E? Immersion.
No.
I don't know if you're trolling.
Immersion.
Yeah,
I
no,
might be
not.
trolling.
I hope you are, but I don't know.
I am kidding. So the yeah, they want both of those things. I would imagine that everything would work.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, I would imagine it would. Maybe not the day that they give it to us, though.
I hope it doesn't. I'm not sure if I want.
I just don't want to hear that fucking song in my hangar.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I'll put the Benny's machine somewhere, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Well, this is the other thing. You don't need to put it anywhere.
Yeah, but like I would. What I'm saying is, I would use it. I would put it there. Like if somebody wants to go eat, that's fine.
I like what Saurus just implied there. Like the best thing about the Benny's Hangar Flare is that you don't have to place it.
I don't know. I'm so tired of Benny's. But yeah, as long as I don't have to hear that sound, I'm fine. That was the thing that tilted me the most about that Easter egg mission. Is like you knew you were getting close because you heard the sound of the fucking machine. Really, Luke? Really, Luke Presley?
Oh, lol. Luke Presley, CIG's biggest troll.
Yeah. So this actually, the next thing I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And it was they're updating the shopping system for 3.0 or their next release, as they called it. But now I think we kind of know it's 3.0. And so they're making it so they can easily change the loadouts on the mannequins. That's at its base. But what I think that it's, you know, and that's the behind the scenes stuff that, you know, if you're interested in that, cool.
Well, it'll procedurally generate the loadouts on the mannequins, right? And then place those mannequins in the stores where they're relevant with the clothes that they sell. Yeah, clothes or armor or anything. Mm-hmm. And what I think that's actually relevant to all the backers is that you're now going to be able to look at a coat on the mannequin and buy the coat on the mannequin. But he also has a t-shirt, shoes, pants, and a hat. And then you can buy, wow, I really like his outfit. And you can buy the whole outfit and it comes at a discounted price. Now, that's clothes, whatever. But now imagine armor sets or whatever. An armor set. Yeah. So now, you know, they put, you know, certain type of, you know, gauntlets with a certain type of chest, and now you're buying, you know, somebody makes a, you know, a really nice loadout. Now you can buy that at a discounted price and so on. I think that's actually really cool.
I'm thinking, although this definitely isn't confirmed, that they'll be able to track all purchases in game of items, so the procedural system hopefully will eventually go, these items are bought together regularly, like Amazon does.
Yeah, these are popular.
And then puts them on a mannequin together with a discount.
Or that's the sort this stuff isn't bought enough.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Let's discount it. Or
I love that idea. I love the fact it works that sort of stuff out.
Yeah, it was really funny. I was watching this, catching my roommate up to what Star Citizen's about and stuff like that. So we watched the last few ATVs and whatever. And he thought these were the characters, and I was like, no, these are just mannequins for in the stores.
Yeah, these are like the lowest quality you're gonna get.
Yeah, so pretty interesting to see. Nothing too crazy, but it's cool to see that they're going to be doing that with the stores, and so they're going to be able to procedurally generate the assets that are going in the procedurally generated stores in these procedurally generated stations or outposts or whatever.
I mean, some of them are going to be relatively artist touched as well, if the procedure generated, but artists will go, no, this needs to be moved over here and move some bits and bobs around, I'm sure, in a lot of situations. But the important thing here is that they are expanding the shopping experience for 3.0, and that is one of the hooks for game. That shopping experience.
What do we have to spend our UEC on right now?
Exactly.
Yeah, and just they seem to be making it a lot easier. So now think about the current shops that we have. You have to go up to the pant rack and all that stuff. Now you just walk up to a mannequin, you actually see how it looks. You don't necessarily even have to try it on, right? Mm-hmm. It kind of makes it easier. So I like it. I like it a lot more. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a really cool idea. we talked a bit about this before the podcast. Was they did another animation update, as they seem to do for most of the ATVs lately. And what we discussed is a lot of the updates seem to be a lot of the same. How many times have we seen a guy sit down at a fucking table, right? And
I don't think
it's no longer newsworthy for us to discuss, but it's also, in my opinion, just not even ATV worthy anymore.
The important takeaway from what they were trying to say there, though, is that they've made progress on animations and movement sets where you're interacting with multiple usables simultaneously.
So that was the difference with it, right? Is that they were taking a cup and an apple and a bowl of soup and putting it all on a tray, taking it off, putting it on the table, putting it back on the tray, and then throwing it out.
Yeah, they had all their placemats and
and they've used their own internal mocap studio to do the pickups for that, because obviously they didn't get all of those mocap shoots done with the celebrities, so they're using some other bits and bobs for the player character and all that sort of jazz from their own. What is it? Optrix? What's the motion capture thing called?
I was just about to say Elphonic. Imaginarium.
So that's their.
No, I was in here. Opteryx.
They said Imaginarium in the ATV, I thought. No.
So they don't need to use Imaginarium for these pickup shoots because they've got their own internal mocap studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Optitrex or I know. Yeah, it's something.
Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying.
And so that was part of that animation stuff where they were showing the sitting at tables, was showing that they were doing the pickup shoots just using their own internal stuff.
Gotcha.
Which is cool because they can do that for the future of the games. Because if you look at Star Citizen, CIG, and Foundry 42 as long-term studios that aren't just building Star Citizen, but are building a game studio for the next 50 years or whatever, that's probably a bit grand, like 30 years or whatever, then this sort of thing that's now in place already is amazing. That allows them to do pretty cool stuff. Quickly.
I mean, I guess I'm just being a little salty because I feel like with some of the things on ATV, we tend again, we've seen people sit down at a table. Maybe, I mean, and I don't think I'm exaggerating here. I think there's been about 10 updates on ATV about sitting at a table, right?
Sometimes CIG don't put information in the correct way to excite people.
And that's almost what ATV is supposed to be, right?
It's supposed to be.
All right, let's discuss this. I think this is a good way to turn this into a discussion. Would be what is the intention of ATV? Is it to inform current backers? Is it to excite potential backers? Is it to excite the current backers? What is the actual point?
What's its goal
of ATV? Yeah, what is its goal? What is in your opinion its goal?
For me, it's very much giving me concise news.
That's for you, but you have to look at from their perspective. What do you think their goal? Now, don't look at it from what it does for you.
I would. Oh, go ahead.
No, after you, sir.
Okay, so I would say that it's to keep backers up to date on what's going on behind the scenes, as well as try to catch up new people who are interested in the game.
I don't know if does it achieve.
I don't know if that achieves that, because we look at it we look at it from
look at it from different eyes.
Right.
I suppose, from my point of view, what it actually does is informs and educates both current backers and would-be backers about what's currently happening in their world. And the idea is that you would want to go back and watch some of the other parts to get more educated about how the pipelines work, how this works, how that works.
And you know what? Those segments, okay, I guess what ATV has been lately for me, and I guess this is a what have you done lately for me kind of moment, is there's been these really, really bright moments with ATV, and then there's been listen, this ATV was pretty fucking good, and I'm just talking about this one section. Why do we keep talking about this stuff? And it just annoys me personally a little bit. But I guess ATV has been doing a good job of informing backers of not only the progress of the game, but how the development works. Like the behind the scenes of how they built the Buccaneer, right? That's totally an update of, like, it did both. It was a win-win, I guess, where it updated the backers on a ship that they're interested in, but then it also showed potential and new people not only what this game's all about, but what open development, I guess, is, like what their version of open development, like how they're doing it, kind of. It's pretty cool. Makes it cool.
Definitely an issue with ATV, which is very bad at managing hype. Because what it will do is, like, you'll have a really great ATV episode, like day one, bam, and it's like, oh my god, next week we'll get something better, and next week will be something quite tame and like, oh, we've seen this before. I'm bored as fuck. Why are they showing this? And it's
when they could have split up that really hype episode into.
Yes and no. They can't really split up the studios like that.
But they do now, Saurus. They only show things. They do a studio update where they talk mostly and show a couple things, but then, like, for example, do you remember the episode? I don't remember what they showed before. They showed at the end of the episode, they showed all the updates on, oh my god, the Prospector, the Reclaimer, the Hull, all these things. They showed the updates on all those ships at the end of an episode kind of quickly, where they could have gone into more detail in another episode. And you know what? We haven't seen anything really from those since.
Well, no, we will.
We saw
on Thursday.
Yeah, we probably will, right?
Yeah. But so, I mean, because of the last one. So, for example,
4 months probably.
The Austin studio, for example, they are a much smaller studio. So when they're basically doing their monthly report, which has become ATV now, when they focus on the studios, they've got much less to talk about. Which is why they've probably rolled in the Spectrum stuff into that as well. So you get the Spectrum report bit separately now. And obviously, when they talk about Spectrum, a lot of people are not interested in the back end of Spectrum.
Not at all. I'm zero interested in it.
Yeah, and although it's quite rapidly iterated upon, it is quite samey when they talk about it.
I'm really interested in it. I always listen to the update because I'm waiting for when we get in-game voice, because that you know, they have to get the Spectrum stuff on the website done before I can get my damn in-game voice. And that's the most important thing to me.
There's a small amount of Pavlovian conditioning, and I love the guys from Spectrum. I think they do a great job, and hopefully their system's going to be absolutely fantastic. But because of the disappointment of CitizenCon, every time I hear the word Spectrum, my brain becomes disappointed instantly. It just switches into no vertical slice. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. It's just they kind of said they weren't going to do the studio by studio thing as much anymore.
I like the way they do ATV. I just wish they balanced their featurettes a bit better.
Agreed.
Amazing featurettes and some amazing ship work and design, and get to see some really great stuff. And then the next week it's a lot more tame and boring, and then it will be a piece on some form of audio, which is great, but it's very niche. They need to identify what stuff's niche and put it with a great episode, like some great content, and then they need to identify stuff that's much more mainstream and generalistic that people are like, fuck yeah, this is awesome, and put that with when Austin hasn't got much to talk about. If you see what I mean. I'm not picking on the studios, but Austin are a good example because they are a smaller studio compared to the rest. They've got 10% as amount to talk about with the rest of the studios, so it's hard for them.
Yeah.
In this format.
Sorry, I was just editing the doc a little bit because I didn't think the next thing. It was in ATV, but I think we could talk about it later. Because I think a good thing to go to next is the featurette that was on this ATV. So like we're kind of saying, well, maybe the hype isn't as good or whatever. But this featurette was pretty awesome.
There's a lot of people who are very interested in this, going by, you know, why it's being done and everything as well, right?
Yeah.
And that's the Cutlass.
Just how it was done.
And the Cutlass update. Yeah, that was the other thing, right? Like they sort of did it like an in-lore thing. They took the developers or the actual ship designers and turned them sort of into I don't know if it's temporary or like
how cool would it be to go to what you know, off the top of my head,
like, I don't go to their headquarters, Drake headquarters, whatever, and you see characters of Josh Coons and Matt Sherman and whoever else has worked on the ship. I mean, that would be kind of cool.
What if?
But is that what they're gonna do? That's what I'm saying. But is that what they're gonna do? Because that's sort of what they're sort of leading towards, and doing.
Perhaps. I mean, you remember the early
like
ATVs
for fun
with,
sort of?
Well, I think that it's a for fun kind of thing today.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes time to design the Drake, headquarters that we might go and visit, I have a funny feeling like you might see Matt Sherman sitting at a desk,
I think you might see like references.
And Josh
to him.
Kuntz, yeah.
They like doing those form of lore references. They're very good at that, and their lore team is very, very solid as well.
Yeah, and in my personal opinion, I would like that. That's the kind of Easter egg that I would love to see. That's the kind of Easter egg that, especially for a game that's an open development, where you actually get to know the developers and make relationships with them. Like, it's pretty cool to be like, oh, there's Matt, like we know him, because it's different. Like, the only other game that I recognize this happening in is like DayZ, where Dean Hall is a zombie in the game or whatever. Because people actually know.
And so is Matt.
Yeah,
well.
see, I don't know.
Matt Lightfoot. He works for Squadron 42. He's also a playable character. You can choose him as a character. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. That's funny. And like Chris Roberts is always in his games in some place as well, right? So he'll definitely make a cameo in Squadron 42. But I don't know. Just those are the kind of Easter eggs I'd like to see. But let's get into like the Cutlass video. And what'd you guys think about the Cutlass? And I mean, I'm a big fan of the cockpit and how it looks and everything. But obviously
I just want Saurus to lead this bit because of his love for Drake.
Yeah. So. I mean, like, it's, to be honest, it's not, and like that we've seen a lot of the artwork coming up to this, and we saw their white box and gray box and stuff. So it's not
like I would. It's
not a super surprise. I would have liked to have seen more of the interior, because the interior
maybe it's not done yet.
No,
I swear to God, if it's not done. I'm pretty sure the ship's done as of right now. Yeah. But we've only seen some static shots of it, right? So it would have been nice to have sort of seen some of the animations or whatever for the interior and see.
Because last week Matt implied to us that they were still working on it.
They were still finalizing some things up, and maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. But that's not gonna
needs to get finalized.
It still doesn't change my opinion on it. Would have liked to have seen some stuff. I mean, it was interesting because Drake is my favorite ship manufacturer, but I'm not much of like a lore RP kind of person. But they sort of introduced this as like a lore RP segment for the Drake thing. So while it was really cool. And it's kind of cool to see some of the background stuff of it. I mean, I don't think I appreciated it as much as a lot of people who are into that stuff do.
I quite like the way that they talk about it, right, in and out of lore, breaking the fourth wall, talking about the ship, but also talking about it in game, and then saying, oh, the buyers weren't happy with it, so he.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying it was a bad segment. I'm not saying whatever. I really enjoyed it. I'm just saying I think that if I was more into the lore and more into like RP kind of stuff, that it would have been like the most amazing thing since sliced bread. That being said, it was still really awesome and it was cool to see. For whatever reason, I thought we were gonna get more technical information about it, where we didn't really get that, right? Like, we still don't know what's going on with the shields. We still don't know what's going on with the armor. We still, like, we know that there's 6 size 3 weapons. I don't even think we know what those weapons are yet.
It's clear those are all still being finalized.
But this is the thing.
Of the art.
This is the thing that when we were, well, yes and no, because when we had Matt Sherman on, it was, hey, I don't want to take away from any of the stuff, so I didn't ask any Cutlass questions. But any of the Cutlass questions I would have asked, they didn't cover in this anyways.
Yeah, because we would have asked more of.
I would have asked more like spec stuff
to the designer. Yeah.
Right. And they didn't really cover that.
To see I wanted to see the sides opening and people jumping out. I wanted them to confirm or not whether the Cutlass Red and Blue now are modular rather than different hull variants. I wanted to see crewmen near the bunk beds and operate the turret.
Yeah, I thought it would have more tangible information, and the lore stuff was a nice touch to it, but less of that, more of the actual hard information.
But I don't think that's fair though, because
I'm not saying whether it's fair or not. I'm not saying you just asked me this is what I expected by the way that they hyped it up and fucking dragged it out for 3 weeks before they showed us this thing, and how whatever. I assumed that these things were coming in. I should never assume anything, obviously, but it's like this is sort of, it's how it was brought across to us. That's all. You asked my opinion on it. That was my opinion on it. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just that's what I was anticipating.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think it's fair to say that, well, less lore, more stats, when you don't know if the stats are finalized. And you know if the stats are finalized, they're not going to share with them. But that's kind of exactly what you
and
said.
It's just,
so I just wanted to, like, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm definitely partly with Saurus here. I wanted to see more.
I agree.
Just like if the animations aren't done. If the animations aren't done, do I still want to see them? Of course I want to see them. If they're not done, they're not going to show them to us, right?
Yeah,
I get that.
Dude.
But
they're not going to share.
Well, it's not. It's the exact same.
People freak out. No, it's so you cannot share stats.
Yeah, you can't share.
You cannot share stats
now, especially with the stats being changed soon and being like finalized for everything. They can't share them if not 100%.
You could show art as it's being developed. You can show, animations as they're being developed, but saying these are the weapons that we're going to put on this ship.
I think you're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying I want that information. I'm saying I would have liked it, and I expected it, because I thought it was a lot closer, because they had made it seem like it's ready to go. I'm not saying that if it's not, if they don't know that information for what it's launching with, then yeah, don't give it to us. But I was under the impression, with the amount of stuff that they've been saying and the amount of hype that they generated for this segment, that they did have that stuff and the ship is ready. That's why. That's where I'm standing from. If they don't have the information, I agree. Don't share what is a prototype for what the loadout should be for whatever. But if it's a ship that's ready to go in the next patch, then and that's sort of what is leaning towards, then yeah, I would like that information. But that's all I'm saying.
I kind of I know what to expect now when they do these sort of things in the future. They'll have a quick reveal of the ship working in engine, and they'll give us a little bit of lore and that sort of stuff. And I won't expect, because I'm greedy for those stats. I'm greedy for seeing the actual technical uses of that ship and then fantasizing about them after I know as much as I can about the ship.
Yeah, well, I mean, the big thing with the Cutlass wasn't necessarily okay, it looks 1,000 times better. The big thing with the
it's
Cutlass
way closer to the
look.
original concept art.
Yeah, great, awesome, right? But the thing that was more controversial about the Cutlass wasn't the look. It was its roll and how it flew and all that stuff. So I do agree that if you're going to do the reveal, it should have been more along the lines of, this is
the reason why it's getting the rework in the first place.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that, it still is sort of unclear. There's still a lot, and I think there's a lot to be left to see, and that you won't see no matter what they talk about or what they say until people actually have it in their hands and see how it performs and how it does, how it handles in space, and sort of more of what roles it can fulfill. But that being said, it is a ship with a little bit of controversy around it. So I would have
forever.
Yeah.
It will forever. Maybe, I don't know. It's cool though. It was a cool way to do the update. I kind of hope they do them like this in the future.
Yeah, like I said, just because I'm a huge Drake fan. I like to see this update. Not so much of a lore thing, but it was nice. There's something for everybody in it, which is what I think I was getting to, and so that's what I did like about it for sure.
Yeah. My favorite part of ATV.
This was
What about you guys? Was this the?
I really like the Outpost stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Board.
I mean, I liked some of the information that we got. And I'm not having to go at anyone, but the information they gave us about the Outposts, they did twice in the same segment.
Yeah.
I watched the segment, and my notes were repeated. And I looked and I went, they've given me this information twice. And I was like, that's just weird. And
instant deja vu.
Yeah, instant deja vu, but in a different accent.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was cool to see the stuff. I wanted to see the interiors of the buildings.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. We've seen a lot of the exteriors. We've seen a lot of the whatever. I want to see more of the what is it? The gray box or the white box?
It was 15
of the interior
seconds of the internals, and then the rest was all external. And obviously they're both important. It's just I wanted to see more internals.
Do you place more importance on the internals or the externals, or the even to you?
Even because a building requires both.
Yeah.
Really. It's, I mean, obviously for them, they want to get the externals fleshed out and the fact that it's procedurally placed correctly, and then the internals can be handled however, whatever. They need to look. They need for it to be placed procedurally distributed correctly, and obviously with its feet and stuff, because it raises itself off the ground if it needs to, rather than carves into the ground. It'd be much better if it could carve into the geometry, but that would be insane because I'm assuming that would be much more complex. You know, and then they talk about ramps and stairs. I mean, you say you liked this the most. I'm curious why. Was it just because it looked cool, or?
It was the end of it. The only part that I was a huge fan of was the end of it, where they showed the wear and tear on them. And like we'd seen wear and tear of, you know, like kind of environments that we live in here. So like arid or tropical or like whatever, you know, but then they showed the yellow moon with, they procedurally like put icicles on like the entrance.
Yeah, the polished detail.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. It's just I look at these modular things and I look at them and I go, No Man's Sky does that. Okay, so the basics of these little modular things, these little outposts, No Man's Sky does as well, and does just as well. But the planetary outposts aren't supposed to be the best thing in the world at the moment. They are a test bed for them to do complex working buildings.
Well, we've seen them do the satellites and the different space stations and this, and like you said, yeah, eventually we'll probably see entire towns that are done like this, or you know, them to start to populate planets with more signs of, you know, intelligent life, I guess is the best way of putting it, right? That they have this stuff.
This is a test of modular buildings being procedurally distributed, which is it's a big thing for that game because they want it to be incredibly highly detailed, and they don't want these buildings to be placed in weird places like halfway clipping through the ground or causing server crashes, or being in a desert Arctic biome in like between the two and looking weird. It's a big thing, and it will lead on to hopefully functional buildings that will allow you to do mining, that will allow you to land in, that will allow you to do science in, that will actually be power plants, that power heaters that keep NPCs warm and not frozen, stuff like that in the future. It is important as a test bed. Just at the moment, I look at it and just go, yeah, these are cool looking buildings.
I have a question for you guys. Now I know this is super early. You know, we don't even have this playable, but even the variations of them, don't you think they all look like super similar?
Well, that's what they talked about. They said that they do look very similar, but the fact that they're all white and whatever is just for the initial implementation. They're going to be changing the colors of them. I assume the effects of whether they're in a desert or in a snow climate or in a jungle or whatever will also make them look quite a bit different. I don't know about the architecture. I don't know if they're going to have different sort of styles of like where you have those things that are pop out of the top and everything. If those are going to look different, or are they all going to be square like that? Will they be round, or will there be more like sloping sides and things like that.
I think eventually.
Yeah, they're starting with very basic sets, and then they're going to expand those sets out quite a lot, and then they're going to start to do more complex structures with it and quite clever things. At the moment, this is the representative of the smallest possible structures on planets in game that will be procedurally distributed, I think, and that they will be modular is the idea. So it's just an early test for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and the I remember what I was going to say. Infidel Dog said they reminded me much of Mass Effect Andromeda Outposts in chat, and it's like, yeah, holy crap, they really look like the Mass Effect Andromeda Outposts.
But they look like any space games modular kind of buildings, because that makes sense for them to look like that.
Well, I mean, just like if you were to colonize Mars in real life or build a base on the moon or something, you would need to build it in a modular fashion like this anyways. But it'll be interesting to see if they sort of divert away from that later on, or if there's a way that they can make for planets that are inhabited already, that aren't just inhabited by these modular things, that you can see that they've been there for a while and they have their own sort of architecture and things like that.
Yeah. I think that's like pretty much it for the modular outpost stuff. The only other thing was that I guess is somewhat newsworthy. This is like super newsworthy, but then like not newsworthy at all, because it's probably like fucking 10 years from now. But Aaron Roberts popped on Wednesday. He popped on Bad News Baron's stream for a little while, and I think the only relevant thing that he said that wasn't already said a million times before was that he actually confirmed that we would have player housing in game,
like buildable
at some point.
Like customizable.
Your own, your own house. You would have it in game. So like when you're looking at this kind of stuff, you can actually start imagining like, oh man, I would love to live on this planet and have these things maybe in my house. But at the same time, I've heard Aaron say some things before that I still don't see in game yet. So like, I'm pretty sure it's way far away. It's just cool that they actually confirmed that it's something that they're going to do. Where it was always a thing that they had said, we would like to do this, and now it's we are going to do this. So that's interesting to me, and is quite relevant to us seeing planetary outposts, Yeah. But other than that, we have some other news. There was a patch this week.
Oh my god, surprise patch.
Just out of nowhere. I was like, I just finished downloading the live build, and it's like a PTU build. What?
I know, and you get to download it all again. Yes! I was like, oh, I've just downloaded this, now I get to download it again. Woo!
And then, the next day it went to live. So in between the last podcast and this podcast, we had 3 patches. So we had the PTU of 262 go live. Then we had 263 go into the PTU to everybody. And then 263 went live almost immediately.
Yep. Who says they're not making progress?
No, it's nice. No, that being said, it is nice to see patches come out that quickly and not have like a 2-week wait in between them. Sometimes I know it's a small patch and it didn't include a lot, but it was also a large patch to download. That's more of a hey, let's get that Delta patcher shit figured out.
Like, it was a nice reminder that we don't have it yet.
You have the Delta patcher. I want to see this every week. I want to see.
Oh, at least yeah. I want to see a weekly update.
I think we
amazing. Will. Yeah, I hope we will. I know they get like at least daily builds at the CIG studios.
Oh yeah,
and they update their builds so regularly. I'd love to have 500 meg a day hotfix patches.
Yeah,
it'd be fucking awesome.
God, when I was at the
or
studio
just like
in LA,
here's some new clothing, or here's another pistol, or
clothing.
We can put a ship in now. Ship's ready. Here you go.
Yeah,
so good.
So ready for the Delta patcher though. Like, there's days I'm just like, I would really like to watch Netflix or something while I wait for this patch to download, but it's gonna take so long if I set it to 7
in all honesty,
megabit.
There's a thing
I have
I
been
kinda
able
wanna
to
tell people. I want to inform people about the Delta Patcher, like in other games, and go, guys, we've got this great thing that's going to be happening for Star Citizen called a Delta Patcher. And I start talking about it and then realize that every other game ever's got it.
To be fair,
Steam does it for them.
To be fair, this last patch or update, when I'm downloading stuff, I can actually watch YouTube videos at the same time on a separate computer, but I can watch them. Before I couldn't do that at all.
Even when you have it at max or whatever.
Yeah. So
interesting.
It's been.
I just didn't even try.
It's a little bit better. It still is like a hot mess, but I mean, it is a little bit better. But it's nowhere near what it needs to be. Is basically what I'm saying.
Gotcha. I'm ready though. It would just, I think it'll, like what we said before, we should be getting hotfix patches more often then, which would be cool. So instead of having to deal with a patch like forever, now we don't have to.
Yeah.
So Board, you want to talk about some of the changes that went into 2.6.3 since you threw this list in?
It wasn't many. It was mostly a hotfix patch.
Yeah.
They fixed a load of crashes and
freezes. And stuff like
some
that.
Performance improvements with Star Marine. Obviously, we had really bad, juddery, crazy frames, and all that sort of jazz. But there wasn't anything major really in the patch. Let's bring up my notes from it. Was there anything else?
So weapon thruster
stuff.
Yeah.
So in preparation for item 2.0.
Nope.
In preparation for.
Nope.
Nope. Let me continue this in a second. Yeah. They turned off and disabled the ability to manage engine power and the 456 on your keyboard, which was to turn off weapons, thrusters, and shields, and to toggle them. And they're not turning them back on until item system 2.0 comes out.
Nope. The real reason they turned those off was because when you quantum traveled with those, it froze the entire server for everybody until you got to that destination. That's why they removed it. If you toggle them off and then quantumed with them off, anywhere, it wouldn't just be All-Star. Anywhere, it would freeze the whole server.
It was a hotfix.
Yeah,
it was a hotfix.
Yeah,
they disabled it to hotfix it.
Yeah. But it wasn't necessarily just because they're waiting for 2.0. It's because they're not going to try and fix this when 2.0 is so close.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was sort of implied that 2.0 was going to be coming out pretty damn soon. Well, that's the hope anyway. It was kind of
Star Citizen 2.0?
Mm-hmm.
Star Citizen 2.0. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be? Oh wait, we've had it since March.
No, we've had it since December 2015.
We've had it since March 1996, mate. 1996.
Yeah.
This is the new 2.0 hype, though.
Yeah.
So do you think we're getting a schedule for it this week?
So maybe. I think we're gonna get it.
I think we're gonna get it. Do we think we're gonna be happy with what we see?
Are you gonna be upset if we don't get it? Is a better question.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be upset if you do when you do get it? I think is an even better question.
Yeah.
If they're not giving me the schedule report this week, I want a schedule report telling me when the schedule report is.
And can we have 3 different videos on how they're building the pipeline for the schedule report? For the schedule report.
The schedule pipeline. Yeah. I can imagine that as a featurette.
What devs would be on the featurette for the schedule pipeline?
The pipeline devs? The ones that work on the pipeline?
It would be Tony Z, it would be Aaron, it would be Chris. It'd be Cameron as well.
And it would be the secretary that writes it up.
Oh my god, yeah.
Well, here, it's Aaron, Chris, and Tony Z. We have a picture right here of the pipeline team.
Yeah. That's true. Look at how excited Aaron looks to be there.
Yeah.
Cool story, Chris. Can we go eat lunch now? I think we're gonna be kind of sad once this report comes out.
What do you mean?
I think it's gonna be like, oh, it's April 13th or 14th, whenever the day it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It's ready. August, end of August.
To do my taxes, and oh crap, it's gonna be like 5 more months before 3.0 comes out.
I mean, I'm expecting 3.0 to come out in August now at Gamescom. That's when I'm expecting it to go live.
Yeah, but then when they actually confirm it that it's like not earlier than that, aren't you going to be like?
I don't know. As long as I'm getting content, and as long as they're making.
You're not getting
progress.
content in between now and then, though.
Whoa! How do you know? You ain't seen the schedule report yet. Might be a patches in between. Might be.
But they said
patches.
the 3.
It'll be like 2.6.3 if there's patches in between.
Nothing yet.
It wouldn't be the 3.0. It wouldn't be the 3.0 schedule report if we were getting patches in between, right?
Well, we'll have to wait until we see the schedule report, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's what we're saying. So if it's
report.
Yeah.
What are you implying here, Bored?
Well, the first thing I think, okay, quite genuinely, is I think they've repackaged what I believed was 2.7, and they are now just going, well, let's just call it 3.0 to piss less people off. I think they're starting to learn how to piss people off less, with naming stuff. Like, I think they're getting cleverer, okay? Like Trixie Little Hobbits is. And I think that they're going to do a 2.7, but they're just going to call it 3.0, and it's going to come out a bit earlier than I expected. And
you think that'll be like your moons and stuff first?
Yeah, moons and stuff first. As many of the features of 3.0 as they could possibly get in, because they need to test them. They need to get them.
Yeah, because at this point, 3.0 sounds like, well, it would be the biggest patch since the game ever.
It's like a different game.
Yeah, and it just introduces so much stuff, right? Items 2.0 is huge. NPCs are huge. Landing on planets is huge. Then those are just 3 things of it, right? We could sit here and go on what has been said that's coming in 3.0. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did split. I'm kind of surprised they haven't mentioned about splitting it up. But yeah, who knows? I guess we'll find out. We'll find out on Friday.
I just think I'll be disappointed.
Maybe that's part of the schedule report. Disappointment as one of the features.
Disappointment coming in July 3rd, 2017. Targeted for mass live disappointment for July 17th.
Disappointment's not the right word, because obviously I expect us, like I've been saying, 3.0 for Gamescom for a while. It's expected, but you know, there's always that little piece in the back of your mind that like, ooh, what if it's like in a month, you know, and we just didn't know or something, you know? So that's what I mean. They're gonna confirm that it's like, you know, what we've always been thinking might be true is how I feel, at least, you know. And it's just like, man. You know, that's what I mean by disappointed. It's like, what game am I gonna play for the next 5 months on stream? I have no idea. I've been finding all these little, you know, little cool games, but none of them can like sustain forever. You know?
I loved your Salt at Dominar, whatever it's called.
Game's amazing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Game's amazing.
Sorry.
Here's some. Speaking of Salt, here's something I'm sad. I want to go back to Gamescom, man. It's so far away. They gave the Gamescom details, and I was like, that was awesome.
So they're releasing tickets on the 22nd and 23rd of April.
Yeah.
So the BritizenCon weekend. So subscribers will be able to buy. Subscribers and concierge will be able to buy tickets for Gamescom for the Star Citizen party on not this Saturday, next Saturday, and then on the Sunday, everyone else will be able to purchase them. They've got 750 tickets, and it's on 21st of August.
20, yeah.
Friday the 25th.
No, it's in Cologne, Germany. The party's on the 25th of August. You have written there.
25th of August, my bad.
Yeah.
In Cologne, Germany, in the Gloria Theatre.
So the same place they've had it for the last 2 years.
Well, I have yet to go, and I will be buying a ticket, and I will be going down.
Dude, it's awesome. It's awesome. Gloria Theatre's cool too, except for the fact you have to stand.
Passports. I'm always terrified of having a panic attack in a foreign country.
Really? I mean, I don't. Are you like claustrophobic?
I'm agoraphobic.
What the hell is that?
So I'm afraid of public situations, occasionally large open spaces, occasionally enclosed spaces. I've got erratic panic attacks, which are just random. Like I decide I'm having one.
What if you're really drunk the whole time? You'll be fine, right?
That's fine, but I am also bipolar and anxious, so I can become an absolute cock while drunk, or I could be.
We know. Oh, we know, Bored. This whole show knows how you could be when you get drunk.
But that's what I mean. Like, I don't want to be like smashed because that's not responsible. And as funny as it is, I am to some people.
He can't even say it without laughing. He can't even say it without laughing.
I don't think any of us should fucking be role models to fucking anyone. We're idiots with computers that play games. But to some poor few, I might be a role model, or at least we have a responsibility not to get totally shit.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm
until after the
oh fuck! But I will probably be relatively plastered. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, during the event, it's when you
expect a phone call.
No, during the event is when you like lay back and have a great time and enjoy the show. Like I was screaming the whole time and stuff like that. It's cool. But that's definitely a thing I would love to do. And when I saw that, it just made me sad because like, hey, you know, I had this amazing opportunity. I got to go out there last year. I in no way expect to have that opportunity 2 years in a row. If they are going to do it, I would totally expect them to be doing it with other people, right? So
if I swore less, maybe CIG might consider me.
Yeah. Well, I swore quite a fucking lot, and you know I still got to go. But that was one of the best experiences in my entire life.
Because you're a little bit over your, not over, but you're a little bit better with your plane phobia now, aren't you?
Well, definitely. Yeah, I didn't have it at the time. But it wasn't the plane. It was just the being in a different country, meeting people that watch the stream, and just the overall event was probably the best event of the year. So it just was like, it culminated into a lot of things. And just Gamescom is like any convention that I've been on absolute fucking steroids. So it was just crazy how many people were there and all the things they were showing. So yeah, it's cool. But
cool.
Yeah, if I could afford to go out there, I would. So I don't think I'll be buying a ticket.
Well, I'm hoping that you'll get some generous donations and force you to come along on the stream because I'd like to meet you both personally.
Yeah, I mean maybe next year if
nice.
they do a CitizenCon in United States.
It's not looking in the cards for me either this year. But
No.
it would be nice if we can, but yeah.
Wait until the schedule report.
The schedule report will tell you.
Yeah. Depending on how early 3.0 comes out and how
Honestly,
how popular Star Citizen gets, it could be a possibility.
It could be a possibility if the schedule report is good.
If it's good. If it's if it's not good, then no bueno.
No bueno.
Defender weapon.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was I mean, it's another art thing, so it's just like, oh look, this is cool.
But it's
cool to see the brand new design of weapons.
Well, the first of the alien weapon design, really. Like we've seen the weapons on the Van Duel stuff, right? But aside from those, that's all we've seen, right? On the cart wall, it has human weapons. So it'll be interesting. For now, I mean, it's designed that way. It's a design for.
But I think we'll come across GN ships that have GN weapons.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is I'm surprised we haven't seen more of the alien design stuff, unless they're starting to work on the alien stuff now, in which case I expect to see more of it coming up. Also, same with FPS weapons, and just like we've seen the FPS armor for or the flight suits for the Tavarin, for the Van Duel, how it's integrated into them. We haven't really learned a lot about their weapons or weaponry yet.
I don't think we're going to. It really depends on how much of these you do. Okay, so for I don't know, but
neither do I.
But I know, but I guess what I'm trying to say is it depends on how much of these guys and these things that we're going to see in Squadron 42. Don't you feel like a lot of the art still is dependent on what we're going to be seeing in Squadron 42? Or now that we're starting to see the UK studio work on things like the Prospector and the Reclaimer, do you think we're past all the art now?
Do you think we're going to see all the aliens in all the different
I don't
races
know.
in Squadron 42? I was under the impression that we were only going to really see Vanduul.
That's kind of the impression that I'm at. So now, do we think that a lot of the art assets are done with Squadron, and now they're moving on to actual Star Citizen
stuff
assets?
I think
Maybe.
we might see Banu and Xi'an in Squadron 42. I mean, that's my feeling. We might not see a huge amount of them.
We might not see a large amount. Yeah, we might literally see a merchantman and a defender and a couple Carthwall, right?
Yeah, I
and
think,
no Tavaran.
Well, I think we might see a Tavaran as well, just walking around, chilling out. Maybe a congressman or something in the Congress hall, because they do have Congress people.
This is true.
Tavaran. And I'd expect to probably see that in Squadron 42. They wanted to show that sort of stuff. They want to make it feel like the universe is much larger in Squadron 42, even though it's a single-player game. And they want you to give you that level of Chris Roberts immersion, and they want to build on the Empire. They want it to feel like a Roman Empire with all these barbarian states and nations. And I think that we're going to see a lot of that in Squadron 42. And now that you've said that, I don't think that we will see a lot of the weapons and stuff like that in the persistent universe until after Squadron 42 is out.
Yeah, I mean, that, like, I want the game. Obviously, I want to play Squadron 42, but less of the fact that I want to play Squadron 42 and more of the fact that I would love to see more open development from
what they're doing,
Star
so they're not
Citizen
worried
assets
about
and what they're doing,
spoiling anything.
Yeah. So I think that's like been the biggest hindrance of the quote unquote open development for Star Citizen, and the things that we sometimes get upset about is that some of this stuff is kind of maybe story spoiling, and like, you know, maybe they can't show an internal section of, I don't know, an Idris or a Javelin for whatever reason, you know. So
specifically with the Banu Defender weapon that we saw, the Singe, it kind of confirmed.
It's a cool name too.
Yeah, it kind of confirmed to me what the role of the Defender was, and it is a slightly different role than the rest of the. Well, I believe it's a slightly different role than the rest of the dogfighters and things, because the tachyon cannon, the Singe, is a long-range, high-damage, like snipery weapon. It seems. And I feel that the Defender is actually going to be literally just a quite tanky, high-damage escort ship, which just repels things. Just goes, fuck off. Get away from my ship. It doesn't chase anything. It just goes along and goes,
it's not necessarily going to be fast, but it'll have a long range on it, and may be able to take some damage.
It just needs to keep up with the ships it's escorting, and just repel anything that comes nearby, and have a good amount of stamina. I'm looking forward to it now. I like sniper weapons in games like this. I like those really long range guns. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it works, and I'm interested to see what a tachyon cannon fires like.
Yes.
We will find out soon enough, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the last thing we have on the dock here is the launcher update. So there was a launcher update. We talked about that earlier briefly. They fixed the bug with the music. Basically, Windows 10 and 192 kilohertz sound was freaking out, so they disabled it, and then now it's all back in.
For some reason.
Yeah.
But no Petro music.
But now it is back and working.
I mean, did anyone complain about the launcher not having music?
Nope.
I mean, the first thing I did was mute it.
Yeah.
And then
it's muted. No.
And then just go throw the fucking launcher on the ground. Give me the data patcher. Then enough for you shitty launcher. Moving it around my screen now.
BoredGamer, Luke Presley just typed in the chat he's upset at you about something.
Oh,
he said he's just written down as a designer on the BritizenCon guest page. This is an outrage.
I did not write that. That was Chris. Anton, I'm throwing you in it. You've upset Luke Presley.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. Like,
don't you know that he is the CEO of?
Isn't he director of Star Citizen Live? Director of
PU.
What is your job title, Luke? Is it director of Star Citizen Live or director of the PU? Okay,
he's not a director. I think he's something else, but because I called him a director and he's like, I'm not a director, because that would mean he would get his own parking spot or something like that. Might be. There you go, lead designer of Star Citizen Live.
There
you go.
Okay,
you're just a designer, Luke, with an extra word in front of your name.
Is there any other?
Just a word.
Any other titles you'd like attached to that? Are you chaotic neutral? Are you
Sir? Luke _CIG. lead designer of Star Citizen Live.
Yeah, I mean, just the director of directors, King of Kings. It's okay, Luke. I get that changed for you. Don't you worry. And I promise you, I won't troll you at all.
Oh man, but I guess did we even mention it yet? If you guys have any questions, we're probably gonna go into that section now.
Yeah, we are going in that section right now.
Let's do it.
Sally asks, if you're not aware of the TV program Room 101, please check with Bored, and I'm sure he can explain. My question to the panel is, what item development ship would you place in Room 101 to never come back? A member of the panel chose something you really wanted. What would you bring back? Sorry, Bored. Can't wait to see your face on that one. Keep the great work on the podcast. And sorry, it's 2 questions.
Well, explain.
George Orwell published a book called 1984, where Room 101 was where... actually, I thought Room 101 was where your darkest fears came true. But basically, Room 101 is where you get rid of something and it wipes it out of existence.
So what ship, Star Citizen ship, would I like to wipe out of existence?
Wipe out of existence permanently. It never happened.
Believe it or not, it would be the M50. I love racing with it, but the fact that it's still allowed to be a combat ship, I want to wipe it out of existence. Like, but it's an infiltrator. Fuck off. Yeah, I hate that ship so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything.
I love racing with that ship. With the
I'm more interested in bringing things in, not getting rid of things. So I don't.
Look at him trying to be democratic. And
just answer the fucking question.
If I say anything,
no, I don't. I don't know what I want to get rid of.
I'll get rid of the Banu Merchantman. Fuck you guys.
Because it doesn't exist anyway.
I would probably get rid of the Mustangs, to be honest.
Yeah, the Mustangs are the Avenger. And just the old one. Just get a new one. Just for the new ones to come in.
I want the Mustangs to be entirely remade.
The 300 series. All 3 of those ships. They can all go.
You've gone from nothing to all loads.
Well, all those ones are getting redone anyways, right? So,
yeah, I think that.
But like, we're talking, they never exist in the game again.
Peace out,
Luke just said, Source, whatever you say, I'll delete it. Don't you test me. And then you just said the entire game. So
no.
The game's done.
Holding mechanics and
Sir Luke Presley just removed everything. It's over now.
Can I just remove mining?
No!
That's what you get.
If it wouldn't ruin the stream, I would turn my camera off right now. And leave.
High Lord Commander of Star Citizen.
There you go. There you go.
No worries, okay, that's
good title.
Changed now.
Can we remove BoredGamer?
Wow.
From Star Citizen. That would be nice.
Wow. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. No, it's fine. I'll just leave. I'll do my own thing. You carry on the podcast without me.
Yep.
You're like without me.
Does that answer all the questions that he asked? I think it does, right?
Yeah, I think that's it from Sally. Next question is from Macento1. How much of the original deep dive design documents, example, mining, cargo hauling, passenger transport, do you think are still relevant to what CIG plans to do with those mechanics today? The devs currently working on mining mechanics said that he had nothing to do with the original mining doc, and he had his own ideas for how mining will work.
Really? Okay, I wasn't even aware of that. That's interesting. But the thing is the guy who wrote the mining doc is fucking Tony Z. So
yeah.
Guess what? Your boss is still at the company, so I don't think... I think they're still 100% relevant, in my opinion. I don't think they would have been written if they weren't relevant. The only really design docs that we have are death mechanics, cargo hauling, sort of.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of the in-depth design docs. We have the one for Moby Glass.
We don't necessarily need in-depth design docs either. Just them having a listing for each mechanic they want in the game and a description of it. That would make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're not going to release them to us until they're happy with them. Like, they clearly were happy with the mining one, and I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Seems doable. But my opinion is they're still relevant. Just because we haven't heard them speak about them in a while doesn't mean that they're not relevant.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But, yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything else to add.
I don't really know.
It's hard to when they've been quiet on all of them, so it's, you know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get any more design docs coming up now that we have the room system coming in.
And we know they're working on mining.
Yeah, we know that they're working on different effects for, you know, when you're low on oxygen or taking damage or limping or medical stuff. Like, we don't have a medical design doc yet, right? And that could cover so much, everything from respawning to healing and fixing people and bringing people back to life and all kinds of stuff. So
and that could really step up a game like Star Marine, right? And make it even more interesting than it already is.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of a design document-ish medical stuff.
Yeah, it's really old though.
Yeah.
I don't think that anything that old.
I wouldn't call it a design doc necessarily. I think it was like and I'm almost positive, Board, that it was Ilphonic stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because it had to do with Star Marine, right? So you might as well just consider that not relevant. So out of all the design docs, anything that was written for the old Star Marine, you can just consider fucked off, right?
Yeah.
Because that's basically what happened.
Our next question is from Samparico. Since Ben Lesnick said on the last Wednesday episode that he is optimistic about seeing 3.0 before Gamescom, and probably not going to be a 2.7 patch or any interim patch before the big patch, how optimistic are you about seeing 3.0 between June and July? And will we be able to purchase ships with Alpha UEC by then? Probably not.
Well, I think when we're saying when we'd see 3.0, I think we're talking about when it would go live. I think it would be pretty obvious that it would go to Evocati before that. And that would assume, I don't know if they would throw 3.0 to Evocati unless they cleaned up a lot of that leak shit. And to be honest, I won't play it if it's not, I won't take part in the Evocati if that stuff's not cleaned up. But the
what stuff is that?
The fact that people were able to leak the game.
Oh.
Right? Like what happened isn't that what happened with 2.6?
Right.
Where, you know, some of us are stuck under NDA and we're content creators and you know, it just kind of sucks for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's been cleaned up. I haven't asked or anything. I'm assuming it has. And so assuming that it has been, I would assume that 3.0 would be with Evocati for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Right? This patch is massive. And the amount of things that would need to be tested on this are absolutely insane. So they would need Evocati, right? Because there's no way they have enough QA testers to test everything in that shit. So I would expect it June, July to be with Evocati, and maybe Ben knows that or something, and that's why he's saying that. Maybe he knows some internal fucking dates that we're gonna see this week, and he's like, yeah, we'll get it before then. But we also all know that I don't think they've hit a mark yet on the initial schedule report. Have they? Have they hit a date on the nose yet? I don't know. I think it's always been delayed a little bit, maybe. So given history,
there's been times where they've been a little bit early with things, but not with a live, but.
And now with a patch like this, there's no way.
There's no way that's gonna happen.
There's got to be so many
too much
unforeseen issues.
Like look at all of it. Like I said, look at those 3 big things that I talked about, and that's only 3 things. There's so much more coming in on top of that.
Yeah. There's got to be issues that have popped up that are going to pop up, I should say, that are just unexpected, that will delay things. There's no way that won't happen, right? So, yeah. I would imagine that it would be a little while, and would be in PTU for a long time as well before it went to live.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe that's what Ben's referring to, but I am sticking with my date of Gamescom because I've been a Star System backer long enough to never, ever trust a timeline that they've given, because that's the timeline at the current time, and unforeseen things happen. It's game development, we know, so, and I think those timelines are done assuming that there's not going to be many issues, but that a major issue won't pop up. But major issues tend to pop up sometimes. So yeah, I'm not any more optimistic. I'm remaining cautiously optimistic, and cautiously optimistic for Gamescom.
Cautiously optimistic is a very good way of looking at Star Citizen with the things they do. It's time frame wise, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I would even expect like more of along the lines of, here is a video of everything that you will get. Here is us playing 3.0, which is what we got at Gamescom 2015 for 2.0. It was, here is everything that is in 2.0, and then we got it after CitizenCon or whatever, right? Sometime after CitizenCon.
Yeah.
So we got it in like December. That's more what I expect out of things. So it's, yeah, it just comes down to CR's optimism, and he's very, very optimistic, right?
Our next question's from Garen to BoredGamer. Now that Test Squadron have crashed into you, will you join them or fight them?
I've been on like partly on Test for a while, for like 2 years. I like to think that with any of the lawful orgs I will be relatively friendly with. Whether that
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm part of Overdrive on my other account. You know, Saurus. So this is really important for me, actually. The way I will be playing 99% of my gameplay will be lawful, neutral, lawful good a lot of the time. I really like, I really like making an honest buck with mining and industry and stuff. I love that sort of gameplay. But I do want to experience piracy at the higher level that Saurus is going to be playing it as well. I want to do capital ship boarding. I want to try and take capital ships. I want to control PvP zones, and I do want to do that as well because I want to see what that gameplay is like. I don't want to cut out a huge section of the game. So I will be doing that on a other account occasionally, but that will be very rarely. So mostly I want to be as friendly as I can with big orgs like Explore, like Test, like all those sort of guys, the corporation, all that sort of stuff. Those big orgs, they're important to the game. They're big players. They're big people. They have huge communities, and I want to be friendly with them. I'd never fight Test. Always be cautiously respectful of them. Otherwise, they might ram the shit out of me constantly. So, thanks for the question, Garen.
No. Dominius2885 says, Redacted rocks. Always looking forward to watching the stream. What action from us viewers best helps you all as content creators? Buying merch, subscribing, bits, or something else entirely? Thanks for making great content and destroying my work productivity. Yeah.
So I like to hear.
I mean, I guess if you mean financially, any of those things are good. I think as a Twitch streamer, though, Twitch streamers prefer subscribers over anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though you actually get the least amount of financial gain from that, it's just very good for.
Well, it's more about community, right?
Yeah, it's a community thing. You got the emotes. Twitch streamers prefer subscribers, but you don't, as a content creator in general, just take part in the community. You know, that's why I say you don't have to do it financially necessarily. Just be there.
I will add
be
on
positive.
Onto that, if you are looking at talking about supporting the podcast directly, there's 2 ways of doing that. One is buying shirts from our shirt store, which is the Redacted shirt store, and the other one is our Patreon. Which,
and the store's on
Twerk,
sale.
if you want it, it's not.
I'm on it. It's not? I got the email today.
No, it's for the 28th of this month.
Okay.
I checked. That's why I didn't bring it up. So
I'll put them in chat.
It's very much a case of kind of sharing that content. So people being involved with the community, I think on every level is probably the most important thing. So people start commenting, start talking about it, get involved, give you ideas for videos, talk to you on your Twitter, getting involved with the community, best thing ever in the world. And
I think that goes across everything.
Financially, great.
To be honest,
it's not necessary, is it?
No, but that's not the question that he asked.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I'm just saying, like like all that social media stuff is helpful across all boards of content creation, not just YouTube or Twitch.
I mean, winning lottery tickets are normally my favorite.
God, I want to hit the lottery so bad.
What do you think would happen? Do you think we would just never hear or see from Twerk ever again? He just wins the lottery and just...
I would do exactly the same thing as I'm doing now. It doesn't matter how much money I have.
Yeah, I mean, you would see me, and you would see me. I'd probably handle some things real quick, figure out what I'm doing, but I would be here. I would. This is what I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But I would actually have time to do other shit. You know, I would definitely have a better fucking internet connection. I know that.
I'd like to see you. I'd like to see you become like a fullish time streamer, and then people give you bits, and you go, "Fuck your bits, mate. I don't want them."
I wouldn't have a donation button.
Just like, no, I don't have your donations.
I wouldn't have a donation button. I would have like a charity thing, probably. Just a charity button. But yeah, I'd love to hit the lottery. It'd be great. I want to live. I know this is like totally nothing about Star Citizen, but like honestly, like when you think about hitting the lottery, I think people start thinking about, I want this big house, I want these big cars. I actually want to live. I don't want to work.
Yeah.
How many people have to work to live? I just want to live.
I've never been on vacation before, man. I want to go on vacation somewhere. I want to bring all my. I want to be able to bring all my friends and just be like, "Hey guys, let's go do something cool," and just go.
Yeah.
I want to be able to make content. I want to be good at something that people literally say he is good at that. Being relatively knowledgeable about Star Citizen, I like that. I like people going, BoredGamer, he knows what he's talking about. And I want to be able to look after my brother and care for my brother. And that's literally all I want to fucking do. I love being able to order takeaway from a Japanese quite often. I love being able to eat out if I want to. But I like being at home. I like being on my computer. And I like talking and this. I'm comfortable. And that's all I kind of ever want. Like, I'm pretty easy to please.
NK Sharp asks, have any of you tried 1440p 144 hertz monitors? Do you think they're worth it?
Yes,
well, 1440p monitor broke, so looking at new ones now. I was looking at the QNX or the X-Star monitors. They're overclockable. They're 1440s. But with what I do and what I use it for, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to be streaming at that resolution. I can't stream at a higher frame rate than 60. So I've never taken the plunge. Otherwise, I would have done that already.
I mean, people will see the difference if I go do 30 frames a second to 144 frames a second in Star Marine, my aim increase significantly. Like, it makes you a better player. I'm not joking about that. It makes you aim so much smoother. And 1440p 144 hertz is where gaming is at currently. Eventually, it will be 4K 144 once cards and monitors can support it. But that 1440p is sexy.
I have a 1080p 144 hertz monitor, but I can't get it to not whatchamacallit. I can't get it to not tear. So it's just like I capped it at 60.
I use fast VSync now, and it seems to sort that out for me.
Fast
VSync, yeah.
Okay, I'll try it.
It gets rid of excess frames, so it doesn't constrict any frame flow. You don't need these extra frames because your monitor's only displaying 60 hertz or whatever. It just chucks them. But you still get like I think it chooses the best samples from frames where it can.
And like throws them in between or whatever.
Cool. Yeah, whatever.
Gunathar asks, anyone know why they removed the engine articulations from the Cutlass, or if they'll bring them back? Nope, they gone. They got put in room 101, son. Yeah. They are fucking out of here. They were a little unrealistic with the amount and speed that they swung around with the mass that they looked like they were. And they just created more problems than whatever. They thought they were kind of a neat design thing at first. I think, did they say they're going to articulate for when they're landing?
I don't know. I mean, they have maneuvering thrusters.
They have maneuvering thrusters. I thought they were going to articulate just for landing, not like how they are now. Well, even now they took out the articulation, so they're not all whoop, 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 all over the place. But no, they're gone. I don't think they're coming back. I don't think they're coming back. It doesn't look like on the new ship that they will work that way.
Room 101.
Zocern, what ship do you think will be good to get a 3 crew human, maybe?
Yeah.
And maybe some NPCs.
What?
Yep.
3 crew. What shit good for 3 crew human NPCs? Cutlass, freelancer, Connie.
All of the above.
Your 3 crew humans.
Humans. There you go.
Humans.
Zeus and Oxia, what do you think the pacing of the game will be like in its final state? Do you think we'll be able to log in for 30 minutes and get something done, or do you expect to sink in at least a couple hours every time you want to unwind after a hard day at work?
A couple hours.
Question refers to the PU and making a quick trading run, not Arena Commander. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what Arena Commander's for, is for the jump in, get some quick games in, whatever. I mean, I'm sure there'll be things that you can go in and be like, oh, okay, I have an alert. You know, my buddy told me that this is selling for a lot of money. I'm going to jump on and go and do that and then jump off. But I think for the most part, the way you look at other MMOs, how do people do it? They're sinking several hours a day, or a week at least, if not per day. And that's sort of, you know, that's what I plan on doing. I want to be able to just play this game for 18 hours at a time. But your face,
and just not sleep.
18 hours, not 24 hours.
Well, those 6 hours I'll be eating
and playing. Drinking and playing.
Yeah. It's a good point. Playing a different game briefly.
Yeah.
Calm down. See, I wind down and up on different games. Like my brain winds down on certain games.
Well, it depends on what you're doing in the game, right? Like if you want to wind down, yeah, you can just go to your mining thing and go and hang out, or do some exploration, or do your dailies, whatever, because every MMO has dailies. We'll have some sort of daily thing that we need to do, right? Or whatever. Or if you want to get all hyped up, you can be like, all right, I'm going to go pirate some shit. I'm going to go cause some ruckus or do whatever. I'm do this
really
big raid.
I'm really interested in what that pirate gameplay is like for the pirate players. Because it's such an interesting thing to balance, because it's such good gameplay for everyone involved if it's done right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it needs to be there, man.
It needs to be there, but it needs to be done correctly.
Exactly.
It needs to be in round. Yeah.
And I'm very, very interested now.
There has to be that risk versus reward for the non-combat players.
Yeah, and that's how you balance where you are able to do PvP. There's areas that are significantly better, but it's much more likely you're going to have PvP. Yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Next question from Sunday of Doom. Do you like that Jan Dredge was voiced by Sandy, or did you hope they'd use another CIG employee's voice?
I'm indifferent. I don't think it really matters. Why not use somebody that's there instead of spending money on somebody that's not? So yeah, use Sandy.
It was a silly bit of lore.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, it was good,
if it's
it was
permanent, then maybe different, maybe hire a voice actor, but if it's just for that one segment, then who cares?
Yeah, I mean, and if she's going to be in the game as Jan Dredge, right? It was Jan, right? Not Jen.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that too.
I would have preferred that if they said that the voice that they used was an actor reenacting it, and then they could have literally used Sandy as loads of different characters as an actor reenacting things. That's what I was hoping they were going to do with that.
Well, she's going to have a role in the game.
Yeah, as well, isn't it? She's Pusher. Yeah.
So I think it's weird that she would be two people, but that's the only thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see one person be two people unless they're like doing different voices for them and they're distinguishable.
It's fine.
Kirkles 99 says, I'm curious about how have you each compare the Cutlass versus the Freelancer. I wanted to buy one or the other.
Oh.
And would enjoy hearing your thoughts on each and how they would compare for a different gameplay use. Thanks, you guys rock.
I think that's a little bit difficult to answer now, right? Because one of the things that we talked about early in the show is we don't necessarily know the stats of the new Cutlass. And that would really depend on how we answer this question, right?
Yeah, I would imagine the Freelancer is more of the cargo ship, where the Cutlass is more of the gunship, troop transport, dropship kind of thing.
Well, remember the Cutlass is supposed to be like 33% cargo ship, 33% combat ship, 33% boarding party. So it's like.
I think we need to take this down a little bit with the ships. So,
excuse me.
The Cutlass and the Freelancers, you look at their base models, isn't necessarily representative exactly what the ship does. The Freelancer especially can specialize in lots of different things and is partly modular, although it might not be massively modular because I think they are different hulls. They shouldn't be different fucking hulls. The annoying thing about the Freelancer stuff.
That goes into like the early development of Star Citizen, right?
Yeah.
Where they kind of messed that one up.
I see very much that the Freelancer route is a different route from the Cutlass, whereas they're not that comparable. But I suppose the base models is the problem. Where one is just going to be better at a certain role than the other. For me, that Freelancer is very much more exploration-y. It's probably got a lot longer range than the Cutlass Black has. It's going to have probably better equipment overall. It might even be more agile now. And the Cutlass Black is filling a different role that's going to be more of almost a gunship, dropship, cargo, pirate vessel thing. So they're different.
Yeah, but you can use it as a cargo hauler.
Yeah, but if you want a cargo hauler, get the Freelancer.
Yeah, in that class.
What I'm saying,
ship, or get a whole series ship.
Yeah. Zeus says with 3.0 and StarEngine dropping soon. I don't think is StarEngine still a thing. I don't think it's a thing.
So I think that people will still refer to the modifications to the Lumberyard as the StarEngine because it is off-piste. It is a major change to that engine stuff. I think it's StarEngine.
I don't think it matters what we call it. I guess is.
It was there. Yeah.
Do you expect to see an increase in player count with a full star system to fly in, or would you instead expect to see civilian NPCs flying around to avoid the feel of an empty universe? This would mean having working subsumption. Well,
that's a good question.
I am assuming that subsumption is coming in with 3.0 because that's what they've said previously, that they want but they still want NPCs running around, whatever. At the same time, we better fucking have way more players playing in 3.0 than we have right now. Right now, the game is dead. Like, there's not very many people playing the game. Getting a match going or whatever takes forever. And I think, from what I've heard from everybody that said anything in my channel, is I'm waiting for 3.0. So,
Board, you were going to say something?
Yeah, but then my computer decided to say, to say one of my own videos incredibly loudly in my ears. I'm now deafened. What was I going to say? What's going on? I'm a bit dazed now.
Board was saying, or Saurus was saying that subsumption was supposed to be in 3.0, so he expects to see the NPCs there. And then you were about to say something, so I didn't.
Yeah, and that I'll see players in as well. Like, I think we're going to see a player count increase.
Well, I'd hope we'd see a player count increase. We'd hope to see with start of server meshing and the object containers working, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
That's the intention of them, and the low-level network rewrite.
I
see it as earliest stage.
I mean, the question is more geared towards: are you going to see a increase in player count, or an increase in NPCs? And I'm saying technically both, but we should definitely see a huge player increase count.
I kind of expect the first patch to not have. I expect it to start small and build. And start small would be maybe 40 at the most.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about on a server. Is that what you're? Is that how you read that question?
Yeah.
A player count. Okay. No, I don't see that. No. I thought you were talking about the amount of people on a server, like right now. I didn't know that was a question about the player cap.
Yeah, I still think there'd be a player cap.
Yeah, I'm talking about just players jumping on. But yeah, a player cap won't be increased initially. They want to increase the frame rate first, I believe, and then increase the player cap. And then keep sort of doing that. And then bring the frame rate back up to par, and then increase the player cap again, and bring the frame rate up to par, and so on and so forth.
Because I think they're putting so many things into the game now. They're adding so much more. That do you really think that they're going to be able to add more players as well on top of that? Maybe. I mean, that would be ideal. Of course, that would be the hope, that we would pop in and have 100-person servers. But I mean, this isn't just a thing with Star Citizen. Like, there's so many games out there that like nobody has above 100 people in a server. So, and they don't have the level of fidelity that Star Citizen does. So I don't know.
Definitely not at first. I don't think you're going to see a player cap increase for a while. Yeah.
I think we're going to see it. It also depends on how quickly they can patch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think
I misunderstood.
I wouldn't be surprised if we still had 24 people per server, but just a whole lot more to doing it. And it might not necessarily be based on coming across that many players initially. Would be the gameplay. It might just be, hey, go land on this planet, take this mission, bring this cargo from here to there, check out all the cool new things that we did, then increase the player count.
Do you think
and I would be okay if they did it that way. It would be a little sad because obviously you'd want to see a ton of people, but
well, here's a second question on top of that. Do you think that the game's going to feel more empty than it does now that there's entirely landable planets and moons and all this other stuff with the same player count? Do you feel like it's going to feel more desolate?
Yeah.
Than it does?
Of course. I mean, you add more area and have less people, like the same amount of people. Of course, it'll feel more desolate, especially if there's no NPCs.
Right.
I'm also assuming no NPCs.
Yeah, I am assuming they are bringing in NPCs, but
yeah, if they bring in NPCs, it'll feel less desolate. But you'll also, I mean, just think of a game like Elite, right? So it's one of those things where they got a big open space and things to do, but if you're not interacting with other people, it can maybe get a little bit boring.
I'm not sure what's going on with Bored, but I'm enjoying it. I don't think he can hear us.
So we can just make fun of him?
Yeah, we can just I've blown him up to be huge on the podcast. And I'm just gonna pop him in front of everything. Giant Bored has attacked the podcast. We don't know how to deal with this right now. He's like, yeah. He has no idea what's going on.
Is that working?
I can hear you. Yeah,
we can hear you now.
He just suddenly disconnected me and put me in a random channel on Discord. I was like, huh?
You got banned from Discord.
Yeah, banned.
For wearing a Nubifier shirt.
What? Nubifier's a good. What's he do?
I don't know.
Lucky noob.
We are 4 months deep into 2017. Should CIG put a dev schedule for Squadron 42 sooner rather than later? What do you think is holding it back at this point?
Animations. Like it's been forever, probably. But I don't think they should give us any reports on Squadron. It should be like the next report on Squadron 42 should be the release date.
Yeah, I mean that's all I want from Squadron 42 report is I want this is the release date, not target, a release date.
Yep. Aladdin the Gamer says, what about having our hangars beside our home on the planet, asteroid, or moon, so we can see the size it really is? Multiple hangars if you have more than one ship. Would it be possible and not a logic part of building out homes, farms on a planet?
Do you mind repeating the question?
What about having our hangars beside our house on the planet, asteroid, or moon, so we can see the size it really is? Multiple hangars if you have more than one ship. Would it be possible and not a logical part of building out our homes, farms on a planet? I think this is assuming that we're getting the player built housing, but that's not coming in for quite a while, so we don't know anything about that, so it doesn't make sense for them to do that at this point.
No, and the only time that we've ever seen player-based housing or like any sort of housing in the game so far, there was just one ship that didn't even have a place to land. Really, you just landed next to it.
I thought we would have had by now, though, is asteroid hangars in the universe that you can fly out of. That you spawn into.
Yeah, we can't fly into anything yet, right?
Yeah.
Not like hangar yet. There's just landing pads.
Yeah.
at least some form of a hangar that we can fly in and out of. I would have expected.
Yeah, but I thought that because remember they were talking about it for a while, and they're like, yeah, we can do it, and with the 24 players, we should be able to do it fine. And I don't know if that design changed and then nothing. So then crickets.
And then 20 FPS for days. I think that's where all the development went to. So
yeah,
that's probably what happened.
Zeus, do you expect to see a traditional MMO style color coding of rarity of items? If not, how will we know how rare or valuable an item is when we stumble upon it in deep space?
I mean, use your eyes. What?
I would like to see a naming convention like that, you know, with your grays, whites, blues, greens, oranges.
I don't know. I think maybe you need to appraise stuff yourself.
Yeah, like maybe it comes in unidentified, similar to something like in Diablo, where you don't know what exactly it is, and then when you either identify it yourself or get somebody else to identify it, then it sheds more light on that, and then maybe it's done that way. But I do like the traditional. If it ain't broke, don't need to fix it. And a lot of people understand what those colors mean. It's not like it's just to one game. So, yes, I would like to see that. He goes on to say, how deep do you think the usability of the future companion mobile app will be in the persistent universe? Would you like to be able to look at the TDD and be able to plan out a trade route on your phone while at work, or have NPCs load your Hull D with cargo while you're driving home so you can jump right in and play when you get home instead of having to sit around and wait?
Oh, I would love to do all that stuff. Do I think we will be? I think it's more just going to be a text and communication app. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to see that stuff. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. Because at what point do you draw the line and say, okay, you can get NPCs to do this, but you can't get them to do this while you're there? And then you're essentially running Spaceman Manager instead of playing Star Citizen.
Sim Citizen, woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think it's just
to load up my noodles, Benny machine. Yeah.
I think it comes down to, like, once a lot of this stuff is built out, you know, Turbulent will just be maintaining it and doing a lot less adding features to things like Spectrum after a while. And, you know, maybe that's a reach thing, but I wouldn't expect to see much further than a communication app. For the phone, at least.
Also goes on, Zeus Noxia has all the questions in today. Squadron 42 will have 3 episodes. Do you expect choices to be made in the first episode to ripple out in the sequels? If so, will it be more or less obligatory to play the first episodes in order to play the later ones?
I hope so, and I really hope they do it well. I got so excited about Mass Effect when they told me my decisions in Mass Effect 1 will affect Mass Effect 2 and affect Mass Effect 3, and then they never really did, other than you chose to kill this person so you don't see them anymore, or you chose to kill that person. Like, I really hope that they do it like
on a deeper level,
well, on a really deep level, because then I can play Squadron 42 5 times and have a fucking different experience each time. You know, that would be great.
It would be good. It would be good for content creators as well, because, like, I mean, I know we're like a small portion of the people playing the game, but looking at it from our perspective, it's like, you know, I could play the game and Twerk could play the game, but we're gonna play it differently.
And you're gonna see a different experience than you would, because we'll likely make different decisions. But I mean, it's just great even from a non-content. Like we always, being 3 content creators, we tend to take that route on things, but most people look at games and say, well, that game's $60. Am I going to get my value for that game? And if your decisions actually matter, then the answer is 100% you would, because you're not just going to play the game once. You're going to play the game more than once. And if you put that many hours into a game, it's worth it.
If I'm going to play that more than once, I will be so fucking happy. Like,
me too.
Yeah. It's
because I have a feeling
like that. Like, come rarely.
Yeah.
All right, are you guys ready for this next question?
Well, actually,
no.
Yeah,
hold on to something. Make sure. Yeah. Okay. From Henrik, what do you think is holding back 3.0? The fact that it's not done. Bam. Yeah. Oh, he says he thinks it's only netcode. But I
Source
mean,
is so insightful.
I don't know. Something.
It's not ready.
It's not ready.
It's not fucking ready yet. There's too many features in it. It's not ready. They ain't got a develop patcher. They can't start releasing bits of the game out. The persistent universe didn't have object container streaming set up.
And Henrik,
yet, so they have to rebuild the universe.
I love you. I'm just playing around. But yeah, we have no idea what's holding it back. It's not ready. There's something's busted beyond belief, and they're scrambling to fix it.
Yeah.
I assume.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We assume. Maybe. I mean, that might not be it at all.
That might not be it at all.
It is.
Maybe they're just waiting last minute. Maybe they're just, they taking their sweet ass time doing stuff. I don't know.
They might have a marketing reason for it. I hope it's not a marketing reason.
Oh my god.
Oh, don't even say that. Because the only reason would be to buy more concept ships. That's what you're implying. There's no way. That would be silly.
Well, they'd get more sales if they released it earlier.
Yeah. Of course.
Another question from Zeus. For traveling...
People think they're delaying for those reasons, which is not... It's so stupid to think that. But okay.
Zeus asks, for traveling from one galaxy to the end to the other through multiple systems, would you like to have the option to board an NPC passenger transport, log out, and then log back in the next day when you're almost at your destination? I don't think anything's going to take that long, to be honest. Should the mobile app...
of a universe to the other, maybe, or like a tour. You might have like a touring ship that goes around the circle.
An 890. Should the mobile app warn you if something happens while you're traveling but logged off and something happens to the ship you're on? If not, what happens to your characters if you log out mid-flight on an NPC transport?
I think they said you would spawn into the nearest landing zone.
Yeah.
They discussed that on a 10 for the chairman recently.
Yeah, I think that's your answer. Should the app
warn you for anything? No. The only way the app should warn you for something is one of your guild members messaged you.
Yeah.
The ship you're on's crashing. Lol.
I think it's literally a communication app for people in the game.
I mean, there will be more to it, but I think that stuff that's more to it will be in the game portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what stuff they'll be able to bring into the app. The Banu, this is by Citizen Shenanigans. The Banu Defender weapon has been assimilated from another alien race. Do you think we'll be able to discover these aliens?
Probably not those ones. The thing they can do with the Banu, because the Banu don't keep records, is they can just imply lots of things about anything they want. They can go off on massive random tangents going, look at this weird technology the Banu have. They must have got it somewhere else. And they don't have to do anything more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can take it later when they are like,
and they can flesh it out more if they want to.
We need a storyline that we need to make.
Yeah, leave a lot of loose ends.
And it works for the Banu. I mean, it makes total sense to the Banu to have them as like a thready race where they can have these weird things that are just out of the ordinary for the Banu to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because, well
the Banu. That's why,
the Banu.
Covent Garden Martin says, I've been getting really excited about the possibility that after 3.0, they might start changing their sales events to non-ship items, i.e. housing modules, specialty clothing, etc. Do you think this would be likely or a good idea? For cosmetic items, I think it's a good idea. I would like to see them do some cosmetic stuff.
Post-selling ships, post-release of the game for me.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
I think if they do it now, it starts to feed those people that I was just talking about a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The game's being delayed so they can sell more concept ships, and Chris can buy a fucking real spaceship and blast off to the moon or some dumb shit that they're saying. Like when it's so obvious that if they released bigger patches, they would make more money. Like, give me a fucking break.
Those guys are stupid. Chris has already got a ship.
Yeah, right. He drives it to work each day. He literally drives a Drake Dragonfly to work every day.
Yeah.
So
it's made of soluble gold as well. Literally, just in the rain it dissolves. And he just buys another one.
Yeah, but selling cosmetic stuff, dude, go for it. Of course, like we all know that they need to fund the game, and selling money is cool. But I would be totally fine with selling cosmetic stuff as well to continue to fund the game and pay for the servers and to add more content at a later date. Who cares? That's anything that's not relevant to gameplay. Go for it, man. Sell it all you want, but just do it post-release.
I think whatever integration they might do with Twitch, Amazon, and all that sort of jazz might be a way of getting around them needing subscriptions. I think they're probably doing something quite clever. Yeah, they might sell this stuff. They might sell Alpha UBC that you can, as Saurus said, I think last time, they might sell on Twitch and that sort of stuff.
I mean, you would imagine they would almost definitely sell the game on Twitch.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's awesome.
I'm surprised. I'm expecting to hear about that when they talk about, or maybe the possibility that they're looking into it when they talk about the referral bonuses and stuff like that, because that.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's like now we actually would make money from those referrals. You know, that's what that would be, right? Because every game that's sold on Twitch through your thing, you get the cut instead of Amazon getting the cut.
Mate, I would be happy for $1 a recruit. I'd be happy with that. Be honest, mate. Like,
but yeah, I mean, that's.
I wouldn't even be able to buy a starter package.
Oh,
yeah, for Twerk. But yeah, I mean, to see like UEC and items that are purely what is the word I'm looking for? Cosmetic, thank you. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, but after the game is out.
Yeah, agreed.
Commander W says, any news on the Moby-Glass rework?
Should be
we haven't heard it in a while, but I'm assuming they're
3.0, maybe.
Just like everything else. Yeah. That's the last we heard about it.
Yeah. We need more functionality with it. I want customization. Moby-Glass.
Garen says, if you had to choose between the Cutlass Blue or the Freelancer Miz as a militia ship, what would you choose? The Vanguard, because it is the one I can actually fly right now. But
wait, did he ask a question and answer it in the thing?
Or no, I answered it.
Okay.
I answered it. But the Cutlass Blue or the Freelancer Miz for a militia ship, we don't know anything about the Cutlass Blue and how it's changed.
I'll tell you what. If it's wanted dead, I'd go for the Miss. If it's wanted alive, I'd go for the Cutlass Blue. If that's the sort of militia you're doing and hunting of criminals you're doing, much more likely to not kill them in the Cutlass Blue if you've got cells. In the Miss, you might as well just blow them up using missiles.
Yeah. So there you go. It's kind of tough to say right now with those ships, now that those ships being in the game. Whatever one comes into the game first, pick that one. And then... Yeah.
That's how you choose.
That's how you choose.
That's how you choose.
Rinkin68 says, do you know if there'll be any capital ships out for sale soon?
Probably not until...
When's the next sale? Next big sale? Gamescom?
Gamescom, probably, yeah. Is it August? Fuck.
Yeah, it's a ways.
Usually this is kind of the dead time for sales. Like the end of the year, they just slam you with sale after sale after sale. I don't think there'll be any big ships. I mean, it depends, unless they make a cap ship.
I don't think they are making any cap ships, though, to my knowledge.
No.
Well, isn't the Idris? Well, no, but the ships coming in, though, will go on sale when they come in.
Maybe.
I would imagine, yeah.
So if they can get the Idris and Javelin working, because I assume the Idris is close to being done.
Yeah, but the engine needs to support.
Yeah, I know, but the engine needs support.
So we need 3.0 first, because of the low-level network rewrite, and then that rework will need to get iterated until 2 capital ships, 2 Idrises, can fight each other with fighter support. So once that's happened, we'll get an Idris sale.
Yep.
Probably for a short period of time, I'd expect.
So whatever those 2 things come first, either that or the next big ship sale.
Gamescom, and they might do one. There must be another event, something for them.
No. Nothing. There's nothing. Nothing in the summertime.
There
These are the worst times.
Any events other than Gamescom and CitizenCon.
Yeah, that preach it. This guy right here. This guy
Yeah,
right
I think
here.
you're right. I actually think you're right. I think the travesty that was the
There should be TwerkCon,
day live
though. I
stream.
agree, Meg.
Guns and Glue says, do you think the Redeemer, excuse me, do you think the Redeemer should be the ship that won the military contract over the Cutlass?
No, it was the Hornet. I think that's
Yeah. Yep.
The Cutlass didn't win the military contract either.
No,
No, the Cutlass lost to the Hornet.
the Hornet.
No, did it?
Yeah.
Thought it lost to the Vanguard Hoplite.
No, it lost to the Hornet.
It's the Hornet.
Yeah, I mean, come on, the Cutlass was win before the Vanguard Hoplite was even thought of.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought they retcon. That's just my brain just going. One's a dog.
And just spinning on its side. That's what's going on in BoredGamer's brain right now.
Quite accurate, actually.
Cataphor says, if neither Squadron 42 or 3.0 is going to come out this year, will your faith in CIG drop?
Yes.
Yeah.
Neither of those things happen. Yeah, fucking course. We're well pissed off.
I don't think Squadron 42 is.
I don't think Squadron
Content on that
42
game.
is either. 3.0,
So if the Vertical Slice doesn't release this year, then yes.
yeah. Last question from Rye. Considering the Vanduul are at war with the UEE, they tend to steal mod what they find. Do you guys expect to see Vanduul ships with the Xi'an, Banu weapons, and or tech?
We kind of talked about that earlier, right?
We're going to see a mixture of proprietary weapons and some specialist hardpoints supporting certain weapons. But it's going to certain alien weapons. They're going to require very specific things, make work on ships. So they're not going to be suitable for all ships.
Well, there you go.
Manage your expectations.
Yeah, so that's it for us for the podcast. Twerk, what are you up to this week, and where can people find you?
God, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a game to play, and I don't know what. Like I was thinking
I told
the
you
last 2
before
days.
the
I'm like,
podcast.
what am I gonna play?
Player unknown backgrounds.
That too.
I'm not playing that on stream.
You're not
I
playing
did
that on
get it, though.
stream.
Nah, I might.
We love that shit.
Nah.
And I enjoy it.
But you guys can find me at twitch.tv/Twerk17 and at Twerk17 Gaming on Twitter. I don't know what I'm gonna be playing. I gotta look at my Steam list. But I played a cool game called Domina, but that's gonna be a from every now and then type of game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see.
That's the one that has Twitch integration, right?
Yeah, it's really fun.
And
really fun.
Bored, what about yourself? What are you up to, and where can people find you?
So people can find me at BoredGamerUK pretty much on all the social medias, on the Twitters, on the YouTubes, on the Twitches. And please check me out because, you know, Star Citizen stuff. Egg. Win. But for the next couple of weeks, I'm pretty busy, so I'm not sure how disrupted my videos are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, I'm going to I60, which is a big LAN and gaming event with Cameron and some of my other mates. We're going there until Monday. It's just going to be me being a mixture of drinking. I will try and stream literally as much as I can from the event. If that is literally turning my computer on and occasionally it's just going to be nothing there for like 3 or 4 hours, that might happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I might be off in the gaming expo or whatever. But I'll try and stream as much as I can. And I'm thinking I might be appearing on the captain's table on Saturday because we're doing a special about BritizenCon, which is the next week. So next week is BritizenCon. From Friday, me, Super Mac Brothers, a gentleman called Dixie. Oh God, I've forgotten everyone's Detox and Miserable G. We're all sharing a house together from Friday till Sunday or Monday or something. And we're going to be having it as a stream house, but we're doing a bar citizen on the next Friday. And BritizenCon on the Saturday and a bar citizen afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be hopefully pretty cool. So for the next couple of weeks, I'm kind of out of it. If you're around at either of those events, please say hi. Twitter message me or Twitch message me. Contact me somehow. I'm going to go for a drink. Woo! What about you, Cyrus?
I'll be playing Star Citizen. I also have a bunch of keys for different horror games coming out. I have one we're probably going to check out later today, space horror game. But yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/WTFOSAURUS and on Twitter at WTFOSAURUS. Once again, thank you everybody for coming out to the podcast. Very much appreciated. And we will see you next week. I am going to be staying online, so I'll be on right after this. All right, guys, take care.
Bye, everyone.
Love you. Bye.